2, 3. Listen.
Welcome to the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Welcome to Battle Bus Live. I am Brian Rose, and we are live here at the back of the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. We are right now going through the borough of Merton, so thank you for having us. We just went through Wandsworth after we crossed the River Thames, and we are heading into Sutton. Then we're going to go see all my people in Kingston, and we're going to finish up in Richmond. What an incredible place. That's 5 more boroughs we are coming to today, and that's going to total up to 32 boroughs in our Battle Bus tour. I'm coming to every single borough of every single of the 9 million citizens in London because I need to see what's happening on the streets. I'm going by boarded up pubs. I'm going up by boarded up restaurants, and I can really see how this city is suffering. I can also see a lot of the frustration that's coming from people out there that are struggling with these LTNs, or low traffic neighborhoods, which is a mandate that came from the mayor at the top of a glass building, who is dictating blanket policies that soaks down into the local councils and boroughs. And a lot of times they're the wrong ideas, they're not implemented correctly, and the people really struggle with a lot of these issues. And I want to talk about that today. So first of all, I want to thank the boroughs we've come in today. Wandsworth, the home to the Battersea Power Station. It's an incredible icon here in London. It towers over the river. You would have seen it in movies like Batman, The Dark Knight. You would have seen it in Doctor Who, and even the movie 1984. It's an iconic place. Then we went by Clapham Junction, which is actually the busiest station in Europe. Some 2,000 trains go through that every single day. Later, we're going to be going through Richmond, which is home of Richmond Park, which is the largest urban park in the world. It's a place where people go to cycle, to walk, for family time. I actually trained for my Ironman race at Richmond Park, and it's a surreal experience when you're riding your bike down the road and you pass a whole herd of deer that are just kind of relaxing by there. It's an incredible, natural landscape in the middle of an urban environment of London. So big love to our friends in Richmond. Next, we're going to go to Kingston, which is the home of the Hampton Court Palace. This is where King Henry VIII used to entertain and basically live large back in the day. It's also the set of the latest Netflix show, Bridgerton, which everyone's been raving about. Everyone loves those period dramas that, let's be honest, we do the best here in England. And if you haven't been to Hampton Court Palace, it's absolutely incredible. I took my daughter Gabby there when she was a bit younger, and we had a great time. What I found great about Hampton Court is that they used to eat really well, and the kitchen there is absolutely incredible. So thank you, Kingston, for having us. Then we're going to be heading into Sutton, and Sutton actually is the home of the Sutton Heritage Mosaic. It's one of the largest pieces of wall art in the UK, 9 meters tall, 5 meters wide. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Sutton, for that. And we're going to finish up in Merton, which is actually home to the, you might not know what this is, but see if you can guess, the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, also known as Wimbledon. That's where they host the Wimbledon Championships. It's the only Grand Slam tennis event still held on grass, and I would say it's the most famous tennis tournament in the world, the most famous tennis venue in the world. I remember when I was a kid in San Diego watching McEnroe battle Connor and watching Boris Becker on Wimbledon, and Boris Becker later came on my show London Real. So we're just so happy to be through these amazing boroughs. And again, like I said, I'm out here on the streets right now. I'm passing by University Road. I'm going by a lot of businesses here, and I can really feel what's going on in the boroughs, and that's why I'm here. Now, today I want to talk about something called LTNs in low traffic neighborhoods, and it really is a sign of sometimes how City Hall, how the mayor is not in touch with what people are struggling with actually here on the ground. And yesterday, I was out with my team on the battle bus, again in a 100% COVID secure way, and we were dropping off food to the St. John's Food Bank, and our good friend Alan Simpson was there, and we were dropping off food to him. We had a lot of tinned vegetables, we had a lot of goods for his people. And as I was getting back on the bus, there was a man named Mark, and he was shouting over to me, and he said, "Brian, do you know what's going on with these LTNs? They're ruining our neighborhoods." And I had to stop, and I wanted to listen to him. And I'll be honest, Mark was really angry. And Mark, I hope you're watching this, because I appreciate you coming over, to tell me these things, and I appreciate you taking the time. And he was really frustrated because These LTNs, which are basically a forced way of removing traffic from neighborhoods, were actually stopping him from visiting his family. They were stopping ambulances getting to emergencies. They were actually bankrupting businesses because there wasn't enough traffic or flow. And they were actually increasing emissions as well. And so it really highlighted a fact, and it wasn't just Mark. Everyone that walked by Mark were shouting over their same concerns. And this was everyone, including cyclists, were saying, these are a bad idea. No one's listening to us. The mayor has got this wrong, but he doesn't care and he doesn't listen to the citizens. And so I thought I would talk about some of these local issues today, and I'm going to talk about them with you. So again, leave your comments below. I'll be coming through with a few questions now. We are right now to bring you up to speed on our digital battle bus. And this is our 100% COVID secure way of getting out there and going to every single borough and campaigning and talking about the issues. We planned to do this weeks ago, and yet about 9-10 days ago now, it was Sunday, 1 week ago Sunday, I was out in the borough of Sutton. I was actually walking down the street alone, talking to my phone like I do when I record my videos for you every day. And I was suddenly surrounded by 10 City of London police officers. 5 police vans came around, and they said that you cannot do this. And I said, well, wait a second, we've got film permits, we've got permits to park here. What do you mean? They said, you are not allowed to campaign. They stopped me, they fined me and my team, they detained us, and they banned us from campaigning. And we thought to ourselves, there's something not fair about this. So we got with our legal team and we created this 5-page legal letter. We sent this out to the 3 commissioners of the major police forces here in London. We sent it out to Commissioner Ian Dyson of the City of London Police that actually fined and detained us. We sent it out to Dame Cressida Dick of the Metropolitan Police, and of course Chief Constable Paul Crowther as well of the British Transport Police. And we said, we believe we do have the legal right to campaign in our digital battle bus, and we are going to continue doing this because we're doing this in a 100% COVID safe way. Each one of these commissioners has acknowledged the receipt of this, and we have been campaigning every single day because we know we are following the letter of the law. We have been pulled over by the Metropolitan Police. We have been followed by police, but we have not stopped, and they cannot stop because we believe this is your democratic right to choose your leaders. We believe in free and fair elections, and if your candidates can't campaign, well, how can you choose? And that's why we are out here on the road. We could be pulled over at any time, we could be arrested at any time, but we believe that democracy is important, and so we're coming out to you and doing this, and so far, so good, but we understand what we're doing every day, and like I said, we think it's important. If you don't have the information, if you don't know enough about your candidates, how can you vote on May 6th? That's 94 days from today, and we want you to go ahead and be able to vote for your candidate. Even if it's a postal vote, that's fine, but the current mayor has been unelected for the past year. That is not undemocratic in my mind, and the last thing we need is them to postpone the elections or for them to stop us from campaigning. As I told the City of London police officer, I believe that this move is political. And he said, no, this is nothing political about that. He got quite loud, he got quite angry. And I said, this feels like a political move, like we are being singled out, because I believe our ideas are resonating with you, the citizens, and that's why we're continuing. So I just want to say thank you so much for everybody for your support. If you want to learn more about our 100% COVID secure battle bus, you can go and watch my videos I put out on my YouTube channel, and we are going to keep going. We believe democracy must be preserved. Again, free and fair elections on May 6th, and we encourage all parties to join us and safely campaign for the May 6th election. So now I want to ask you some questions. Again, this is live right now. I'm literally going through these neighborhoods. I'm at the South Wimbledon underground station as we speak. You can see it right over the back of me right now as we make this turn. It's great to be here. It's great to be, I guess we're in the borough of Merton now if we're right near Wimbledon, so great to be here. So answer this question. First of all, tell me, what's the borough you live in, and what is the biggest challenge you face, and what's the question you want to ask me? Second, tell me, are you frustrated with these low traffic neighborhoods, these LTNs? Are you frustrated with the mayor's street space scheme that he pushed through during the pandemic and was just struck down by the High Court as being illegal? And are you frustrated with other mandates coming from the mayor from the top floor of his glass office without consulting local residents? And tell me why. Second, or thirdly, do you think it was right for the police to detain us, fine us, and ban us from campaigning some 9 days ago? And do you think this was politically motivated? And lastly, I want you to tell me, do you think free and fair elections should take place on May 6th? And do you think we need new leadership new ideas, a new direction, and an independent voice. Tell me that and leave me your comments below. I'm going to be reading them out very shortly. Let's talk about some of the issues around these low traffic neighborhoods. And again, ever since I published some videos about this yesterday, our website has been blowing up. The comments on my videos are just chock full of everyone saying they dislike low traffic neighborhoods because they believe their politicians are out of touch with the real concerns of local residents, and I appreciate you. Again, if you want to submit a question to me, go to brianformayor.london/bus. Or /volunteer. You can, again, sign up, share our assets, and also ask me questions. And so we just went through Wandsworth, and I wanted to talk about what's happening with Wandsworth. You know, the Wandsworth Council is actually going to suspend its low traffic neighborhood trials following a high level review. And again, the trials were intended to combat climate change by encouraging people to use more sustainable forms of transport and to tackle air quality. Again, they had great ideas. But after the initial review, the trials identified concerns in Wandsworth with emergency access and with traffic flows, and so they have now decided to suspend those LTNs. And so we can see this is a concern of the boroughs I'm going through as we speak. And I appreciate Wandsworth Council for doing that and for trying to look into these a little bit more before, again, we put these mandated restrictions on local residents when it actually pains them through fines, through hurting their businesses, etc. But it's not just in Wandsworth. In Merton, a petition urging the Merton Council to U-turn their low traffic network neighborhood schemes has been launched. Hundreds of residents have now voiced their worries, stating there has been, quote, little or no consultation, unquote, to those who live and work in the borough. And that's what we see time and time again. The mayor is out of touch with the citizens of this city. And the article goes on further to say a petition calling for the proposals has been put to a halt immediately, and it's gathered more than 800 signatures at this point. So I'm going through Merton right now, and the people of this borough are saying that they want to review these low traffic networks, neighborhoods, and I appreciate them saying that. Next, we go on to Kingston, which we're going to be coming to shortly. And again, there as well, the LTNs remain divisive for the residents. And Kingston's council's low traffic neighborhoods, they continue to spark great debate amongst the residents with concerns over their lack of consultation. And this is a recent article in the SW Londoner, and it went on to say that the council introduced the trials in early September on Albert Road, Lower Ham Road, and King Charles Road, and they're scheduled to last until March. This again is in the borough of Kingston. And Helen, who's the leader of the Kingston Independent Residents Group, noted, quote, good, well-designed low-traffic neighborhoods are to be supported, but the Kingston LTNs were badly planned and there was no consultation with residents, unquote. That's a direct quote from Helen, who lives in Kingston. And again, we see this systematically from your mayor, him mandating these ideas without consulting the local boroughs, and we think that has to stop. Let's go on into Sutton, which is a borough we will again travel in today, and this is where we see issues with the mayor's street space scheme. And so the Sutton Council has now removed the pop-up cycle lanes in Throwley Way and St. Nicholas Way, reinstating the traffic lanes for use by motor vehicles. And the trial measures were launched back in September to create, ideally, a dedicated space for people to cycle and provide a safer, active, greener travel alternative to the car journeys to Sutton Town Center. But, according to the council, recent traffic survey data and consultation feedback have highlighted that the trial, quote, has not achieved its objectives. And I really appreciate this. I'm a man that respects data and respects the science, and these people had a great idea, but then they've looked at it and they've said that the number of cyclists reportedly is not growing and the car use is returning to pre-lockdown levels. And the article finishes by saying this, and I quote, the council has listened, and we have said since the start we'll remove any schemes that are not working, and I praise Sutton for this. They go on to say, quote, we will now be taking out the cycle pass in St. Nicholas and Throwley Way due to the low number of users and restoring the previous traffic lanes, unquote. And so again, I appreciate Sutton looking at the numbers, looking at the science. Again, I am all for green initiatives. I am all for promoting cycling in the city, but I want to make sure it doesn't hurt our residents, and I want to talk about that shortly. Finally, Richmond, we're about to head through Richmond. The council leaders in Richmond are very frustrated about proposals to expand the congestion charge zone into parts of Richmond. And as you know, the congestion charge has been absolutely an abomination under the current mayor. Not only has he raised your congestion charge from £11.50 to £15, he's extended it to 24 hours a day, he's extended it to 7 days a week, and now he's extending it even further in location and increasing the ULEZ zones, and Richmond is not impressed. And again, this controversial move was among a series of measures that was suggested in a leaked letter. And it also talked about the Richmond borough trying to raise money by adding more taxes to its local councils. And I want to talk about this. These measures should not be used to raise revenues by taxing the citizens. And this is something everyone's frustrated, and you can tell these boroughs it's a real issue. So again, I want to get your questions and your answers right now. Tell me, what borough do you live in? What's your biggest challenge, and what's the question you want to ask me? Tell me, are you frustrated with these low traffic neighborhoods? Are you frustrated with the mayor's street space scheme? Are you frustrated with other mandates coming from the mayor without consulting local residents, and why? Next, do you think it was right for the police to detain us, to fine us, and to ban us from campaigning? And is this politically motivated? And finally, do you think that free and fair elections should take place on May 6th? And do we need new leadership, new vision, and new ideas to take London in a new direction? And again, I'm going to your comments right now, some incredible ones, and I really appreciate everybody coming in here. I've got Diana via our website, and again, she is already referencing these LTNs, these low traffic networks, and she asked me this. She says, Brian, will you reopen our streets? These road closures are causing more pollution than before, as people have to drive more to go from A to B. Plus, it's making it difficult for emergency services to get to a destination. It's making it impossible for people who depend on a car to work to have movement and get their work done. It's affecting disabled people, destroying local businesses. It's making the roads unsafe as they are now deserted, and basically not helping in anything at all. That's a direct comment from Diana on our website. And Diana, I really appreciate you, because you pretty much sum up everything I heard yesterday in Ealing. You sum up many of the comments that I'm going to be reading you today that are coming on our vlogs. Hundreds and hundreds of citizens here in London, in boroughs all across the city, that are expressing frustration that these LTNs, they're not being held accountable to the citizens. And so Diana, I appreciate that. I will revisit and reevaluate these LTNs. I believe that they can be used effectively, but right now I believe they are tax traps. They are being used to generate revenue via taxation to citizens of a borough who are already struggling economically, whose businesses have been forced to close down. They're stopping ambulances from getting to people they need to take care of. They're stopping families from being able to congregate by charging them taxes. I think that this needs to be reconsidered. I am all for green initiatives. I have an entire Green First plan that's outlined on my website, brianformayor.london, but we've got to address this. And the only way to address it is to get out in these boroughs like I am now and to see what's happening on the streets. And that's what I did yesterday in Ealing. And that's why I know this is such an important part. Again, I want to thank Mark for coming up and voicing his concerns to me yesterday as I was walking back on the bus. And I appreciate your passion for that as well. Another question from Shobin in Islington via the website says, I think, like many, it has to be about LTNs, and these are these low traffic neighborhoods that I'm talking about. And she goes on to say, I know in Hackney, over 52% voted against them, but they were still implemented. The same in Islington. We were totally ignored, and this is the way a lot of people feel out there. She goes on to say, quote, I woke up a week last Tuesday, and they had been implemented overnight. And she says in parentheses, I'm ex-ambulance service, and just see the issues of emergency vehicles being able to access residential streets, potentially taking 3 times as long to get to an address. That's the difference between life and death in a cardiac arrest. Wow. She said that's the difference between life and death in a cardiac arrest. This is from a former, an ex-ambulance service person. So they really know what they're talking about here. And she continues, they have also affected the local side street shops where the traffic has now bypassed them. These measures, including the extensions of low emissions payment, is greatly and adversely affecting small businesses. And that's an incredible comment. I heard the same thing yesterday from the greengrocer. I heard the same thing from Marie, who's run a hair salon on the Avenue in Ealing for 46 years. They all voice frustration that these LTNs are hurting business. They're hurting access to key services. and they're hurting access by taxing the citizens, and I really appreciate these comments coming on here. There's a lot more coming in from Instagram. I just want to shift over there real quick. I got Super Azair on Instagram says, quote, when's the debate with Sadiq going to happen? And he is referring to the question I received a few days ago that said this: Brian, when will you debate Sadiq Khan? And I immediately said, whenever he wants. And so a lot of us have been asking the current mayor of London, why won't you debate Brian Rose? And he seems to not want to engage with me in a public debate. Again, I'm willing to do it anytime, anywhere, anyhow he wants to do it. We can do it on a mainstream network of his choice. We can do it on Zoom. We can do it at London Real Studios if he likes. Again, I want to present to the mayor the many, many failings. I want to present the data as I present it to you, and maybe he's got an explanation. Maybe he's got someone to blame. Maybe he's got a reason for his repeated failures on knife crime, his bankrupting the TfL, his lack of building affordable housing, and his refusal and inability to get London's economy back on track. So again, I am asking you, Mr. Mayor, tell me when. Just tell me when, and I'll be there. So it's a great question. Let's keep asking him. And again, if you want to know, go to his social media feeds, ask him, when will you debate Brian Rose? So thank you for that. Johnny Naps on Instagram says, Brian, you the man. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. Star Moon on Instagram says, Brian for mayor. Thank you very much. I've got Korkum on Instagram saying, will the police be harassing us again, Brian? Question mark. The truth is, we just don't know. We're ready every single day to be pulled over, to be arrested. But the truth is that for us, democracy is more important. Getting you the right to choose is more important. So we're willing to put everything on the line to get out here on the road in a 100% COVID safe manner and get into these boroughs. You know, until you actually get on the ground, you don't understand the problems the people are facing. So it could happen right now on this live broadcast, for all I know, but we're going to keep pushing ahead either way. I got Jimmy on Instagram saying, quote, Sadiq is afraid to debate you because his tenure is nothing but failures. Hashtag Brian for mayor. And I was talking to Issa last night, my taxi cab driver. He drives a black cab originally from Somalia. And Issa said, Brian, he said, Sadiq's got no chance. He's got no chance against you. And I said, well, yeah, but then how come the bookmakers still have him as a favorite? And he said, Brian, what's he done in 5 years? He's done nothing. He's done nothing he can be proud of. Name one thing. And between the two of us, we couldn't name anything the mayor has actually accomplished in 5 years. And so it's a great question. I just want to shout out Issa for working. I think I might have been his only fare last night. And I know it's a struggle for a lot of businesses and entrepreneurs and small and medium-sized enterprises out there. I've had 30 years of business experience in so many different fields, from aerospace to engineering to media to education to finance in the City of London. And I know we've got to get London back to work. If we strengthen the economy, we will strengthen all things, and everyone believes that, and I appreciate all of you out there. So we've got a few others, and then I'll get back to a few of the points I want to make about low traffic neighborhoods. We've got Eagerness on Instagram saying, let's start with London and then the rest of the world. I agree. I think our ideas can be moved to all sorts of cities for the world. I've got Angelique on Instagram saying, I'm moving to London when you are the mayor. Sounds good. Let's make this city even bigger and better. We got Hollywood Saul on Instagram saying, I need to get me one of those Brian for Mayor mugs. You can find them on our website, brianformayor.london. You can get mugs. We got t-shirts. We got umbrellas. We got everything. Come there. Share our assets, volunteer to help us, ask me a question. It's an incredible website. We're super proud of it, as we are the swag as well. We got Brian Blay on Instagram saying, rooting for you, bro. Thank you. And we got Julie by James on Instagram saying, I heard the government bill would postpone mayoral elections in May. Is this true? We hope it's not true. We are campaigning as if we've got 94 days to go. I'm campaigning as if my life depended on this, because in my opinion, my life does depend on it. This is the future of the city I love. This is our future. We need to have it under the best leadership possible. We need leaders with innovative ideas, with solutions. And right now, I don't think we see that at all, and it's very frustrating. So again, appreciate that. A couple more comments. We got Digrich on YouTube that says, damn, the battle is real in London. It is. And we've got Everyday Positivity on Instagram saying, keep going, Brian. We love you. So I appreciate you. I want to go back to some of the points I'm making here, because I think it's important to just take it down a notch and just find out, what is the purpose of these low traffic neighborhoods? What is the purpose? Because a lot of people struggle to understand what was the original plan and what was the original purpose. And when you look into a lot of the articles I've been researching, the residents complained of, quote, a lack of explanation, a lack of engagement, and a lack of consultation, as well as them being steamrolled through a lot of these schemes. A lot of people are complaining that these prevent people local to an area from visiting their family, even within their bubble, from attending work, from attending medical appointments, etc. A lot of people, including people that shouted over their concerns yesterday, again, it was all socially distanced, they said that to me, and Mark said this as well, that this appears to be a revenue generating scheme rather than something aimed at solving our transport crisis. And when Mark said that to me, my face just completely changed. And I said, Mark, wait, hold on a second. The job of the government isn't to tax the citizens to make money. That doesn't make sense to me. The job of the government is to help you. It's to help you build businesses. It's to help you make money. That's the job of the government. And yet they felt frustrated because the fines seemed like a way to make money off the citizens. And I think they might be right, because Lambeth Council has now issued fines of more than £1 million to drivers not following the low traffic neighborhood rules in the borough. And there's other councils where the fines have already topped £1 million. This, to me, does not seem like it's doing what the initiative was aiming for. And again, a lot of comments on my recent vlogs from emergency services point out the logistical issues with the LTN deployment. Again, our last comment from an ex-ambulance driver said it took 3 times longer to get to someone in one of these LTN neighborhoods. That's enough to be able to lose someone's life to cardiac arrest. This is serious, very serious stuff. But I think it goes a bit further, because when you look at these flat taxes, and that's what these taxes are on these LTNs, that's what your congestion charge tax is, that's what the ULEZ tax is. When you look at a flat tax, it actually penalizes lower income families much worse than a higher income family, because it's a greater percentage of your monthly income. So all of these taxes actually hurt people that need our help the most. And that's why I'm frustrated to learn that the mayor seems to think that this is something to use to be generating revenue from the citizens at a time when we're all struggling just to put food on the table. I know this because I visited 2 food banks yesterday, Muhammad out in Hounslow, Hounslow Food Kitchen, and of course Alan Simpson at St. John's. We brought them food and they said, Brian, you'd be amazed who is now asking us for food. People that, you know, professional people that own their own houses, they're struggling just to put food on the table, and yet the mayor is putting in a tax that hurts lower income people more and the people that are struggling. But it's not even that, it goes even further. Disabled people can't even access their own homes. And it's a recent report in the Telegraph said that disabled people were left angry and ignored by council road closures. In a recent report, it went on to say that 72% of those questions were critical of the way LTNs were introduced, and they were informed by the town hall bosses to the residents of the community. And it went on to say, and the report, by the way, was called Pave the Way, and it was published this last month. It went on to say that 77% of the people believe their journey times or those of their carers had in fact increased because of the low traffic neighborhoods. And other people have said that emissions have actually increased, which completely defeats the purpose, a lot of the intentions of these low traffic neighborhoods. So again, I'm sure some of these ideas were pure. I'm sure they were thinking green, but it's another piece of evidence that the mayor is out of touch with the citizens. He's on the top floor of a glass building, signing off mandates that look green, but actually hurt the residents of these boroughs, and it's something we really need to think about and we really need to talk about. So now I want to hear from you. Again, I'm going to be reading as many comments off as possible, so I appreciate you all being here live with me. I think I'm probably still going through Merton. I know we're heading over to Kingston. We're heading over to Richmond, so I appreciate everybody in these boroughs. It's a bit brighter today, so I hope you can see a lot around me. We got our special bus cam here as well, where you can see all the 3 windows. But tell me now, what borough do you live in? What's the challenge you're facing, and what's the question you want to ask me? Next, tell me and be honest. Are you frustrated with low traffic neighborhoods? They're called LTNs. Do you find frustration with the mayor's street space scheme, which, by the way, many of those measures were just defeated in a high court, saying that it was unfair and illegal treatment of taxi cab drivers who provide service to handicapped individuals in this city when many other services don't. They're an essential part of TfL, and this was struck down in the high court. Are you also frustrated with other unnecessary mandates coming from the mayor without consulting with local residents, and tell me why? Next, do you think it was right for the police to detain us, to fine us and to ban us from campaigning? And do you think that was politically motivated? And finally, do you believe that we should have free and fair elections on May 6th? And do you think we need new leadership? Do you think it's time for new ideas, for an independent voice to take London in a new direction? Leave me your comments below. I'm going to come check them out right now. They are flying in from all of our platforms, from YouTube, from Instagram, from Facebook. These are absolutely incredible, and I appreciate them coming through here. Again, we've got a couple from our website coming through here, but I'll go for YouTube as well. I've got Diedrich from YouTube in the States says, I'm from the States. I don't know who the current mayor in the UK is, but I'm sure he will panic if Brian interviews him. I appreciate that. And again, I'm willing to have the mayor on London Real if he wants to debate me there. We can live stream. It's fully enabled. I've got Tony on YouTube that says, full respect from me, Brian. Keep fighting for the people's rights. I've got International Towels on Instagram, great name, that says, what will you accomplish in your first 100 days of mayor? That's a great question. The first thing I'm going to do, this is for 6 months after lockdown, and I'm looking where we're headed to right now. We're going right by Merton station here on the Northern Line. So a big shout out to everybody around here in the Merton area. The first 100 days as mayor is going to involve me getting London back to work, which means post-lockdown, we have a 6-month congestion charge holiday. That means all the charges go to zero because we must increase traffic flow into central London. It's so important, or our businesses will be dying forever. Again, I spoke to Marie yesterday in Ealing, who's had a hair salon for 46 years on the Avenue, and she said, Brian, they forced me to close with 30 minutes notice. I've got hairstylists that need to work. I've got bills to pay. When are we going to open up again? We need a mayor that has a plan. So I'm going to do a congestion charge holiday for 6 months and a business rates holiday for 6 months to make sure we can get London back to work. When we strengthen the economy, we will strengthen all things. Mark my words. Our mental health will improve. Our physical health will improve. Our tax revenues will improve. Our transport structure will improve if we can get London back to work. And this is absolutely crucial. A couple more comments here. I've got Paul Hudd on YouTube saying, this is a no-brainer, folks. Brian for mayor, the man has a wealth of experience behind him, and having him as mayor will be fantastic because he will do exactly what he says. I got a few other comments coming in here as well. I've got Spencer McKean on Instagram says, Brian is for the people. And I've got a couple other comments coming here. I've got Danny Beauty Zone on YouTube that says, quote, much love from Germany. Used to visit Wandsworth a lot. Have told my friend who lives there to absolutely vote for you as he was restricted to go to his job, and we are restricted to see us. And I've got Rita via the website that asks, are you going to change the congestion charges? And Rita, it's a great question because I am going to drop them down to zero. We need to do that in order to promote business and get people back in London. We've got to really look at a lot of these fixed charges because, again, they hurt the lower income workers the worst. And again, low traffic neighborhoods are something that concerns many, many citizens of all the boroughs here, and we need to address them. And the last comment comes from JM on Instagram that says, I'll be voting for Brian Rose. It will be my first election as an adult. So again, keep putting these comments here. I'm going to be reading them out. Of course, you can go to brianformayor.london/bus and actually submit a question or a longer form question about any topic you want. And now I really want to get on, all right, one more comment. I've got official only one J on Instagram that says, quote, Brian, you'll do 10 times better than Sadiq Khan, who had over 4 years wasted his potential and not enough to keep London floating. The city needs you to get London to get in a new direction. Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate your comments. And let me finish up with my thoughts on these low traffic networks, because we really have to look at what's actually happening here and how we can find the way forward. I believe that consultation and transparency are the key. The problem that our current mayor has is that he's not actually listening to the citizens of the borough. The low traffic neighborhoods have been deployed without consideration, and in some instances they've already been suspended because they've been shown not to work. They've also been subject, as we've already seen, to legal challenges and other objections from a real diverse range of stakeholders. And what we need are a few changes in order to make these LTNs viable. And a lot of these were voiced with me yesterday. And join with me and leave me your comments if you think that these are important for the LTNs to be viable. First of all, we need clear and visible signage. One of the biggest concerns that Mark expressed to me yesterday in Ealing is he said, Brian, they're going to put a tiny little sign next to the road No one's going to know about the charges. And then when I come to visit my grandmother, when I come to visit my children, I'm going to find out the next day that I've been charged. He said that's unfair, and I don't appreciate them doing that, and I think it's an excellent concern, Mark. Next of all, we have to publish the plans for these LTNs before they're being launched. We have to publish them, let the local councils know, let the local citizens know, and be clear about what's happening. As you heard from our ex-ambulance driver earlier, her LTN just showed up with no notice. She woke up and there was an LTN there. I think she had 5 or 6 days notice, and I don't think that's acceptable. The next thing we must have are regular reviews based on published KPIs, including local sentiment. So how do we know if these LTNs are working? We've got to have a scheduled list of KPIs, and if those are not hit, then we've got to reconsider or remove those LTNs. And again, it could be the emissions. If emissions are going up, we clearly have a problem. It could be a business index. If businesses are suffering on the back of it, we have to reconsider. It could be an overall rate of taxation. If taxes suddenly go up by £1 million in the borough, we have to really think, is that the right thing for our local citizens? And so we really need to have these published KPIs to be able to monitor these things in real time. And in my world, this will be part of my digital first initiative, where these are all digitally done in real time that can be monitored on a website, and you can literally see how these LTNs are performing. You can see people's comments and complaints and issues, and you can also see their successes if they are being successful. And I think one of the most important final concerns is we need to have consultation with all stakeholders involved. This means the residents. This means the businesses. This means the ambulance drivers. This means the fire brigade. We need to talk to everyone and find out, is this the right thing to do, before we just dump a barricade in the middle of a block and say, guess what we just did? We just solved our emissions problems. This is myopic. It's not thinking far into the future. It's not thinking about our economy. It's not thinking to the residents. And again, the people of Ealing spoke yesterday. They are very frustrated because they feel they are not being listened to by their mayor or their councils. And I think they're correct for being angry. And I think they have a very good point. And going forward, as your next mayor of London, this is how I would tackle this major problem with LTNs, and this is how I would tackle all of the future initiatives. Again, I bring a digital platform with me to City Hall. It's one that has 5 million subscribers, 500 million views. I stream with you every single day. I'm answering your questions. I'm talking about this. If you have a concern, you can talk to me on a daily basis. If you have a question, you can talk to me on a daily basis. This is a new level of communication that politics have never seen before, and it's something we're super proud of, and I think that's why our message is resonating so much with all the people in the boroughs of London. People are honking their horns when we go by. People are shouting out, Brian, we've got you, we're voting for you, we appreciate you, we can see what you're doing, we can see that you care about us. And I really appreciate that. And again, I'm willing to put my business on hold, my personal life on hold, on everything on hold, for the next 3 years to be your next mayor, and I'm super excited to do it. So again, I want to get your questions now. This is the last time to type in your answers, but I want to hear from all of you. First of all, tell me, what borough do you live in? What's the biggest challenge? And what question would you like me to ask when I visit? Secondly, tell me, are you frustrated with low traffic neighborhoods? Are you frustrated with the street space scheme and other mandates coming from the mayor without consulting local residents? Do you think it was right for the police to detain us, to fine us, and to ban us from campaigning? Imagine that. Do you think it was right, and do you think it was politically motivated? And finally, do you think that free and fair elections should take place on May 6th? Do you think it's time for an independent voice, time for new ideas, and time to take London in a new direction? I want to hear from you now. And again, if you haven't commented the whole time, this is the time to put a comment in now. Like this video, share this video, leave me a comment later. I'm going to come through and I'm going to try to answer your questions. Again, I can't be an effective mayor if I don't know what your challenges are. So this is the time to do it. You've got an open forum for the future mayor of London to actually listen to what's going on with you, and I appreciate that. I'm going to a bunch of the comments here. There's just so many comments, and I really appreciate this. I've got, let me see here, I've got Sarge via the website that says, hi Brian, what are your thoughts and or views on the ULEZ charge and the congestion zone charging areas? Thank you very much. And again, I think the congestion charge has been raised to a level that's way too high. I think it's been extended to 24/7, which is the wrong thing. I think it's been extended even further out the circular. And I think it's a tax that hurts our lower income citizens even worse than everyone else. And so that frustrates me, and I think we need to change it right now. I've got Craig Randall on Instagram that says, "Hi, Brian. I know you'll be mayor 100%. My question is, what autonomy will you have as mayor with the craziness of government policies that continue every single day?" And Craig, I appreciate that. As you can tell, it's a little shaky back here in the battle bus, but it's something we roll through here on a regular basis. And let me say this. The beautiful thing about me being mayor of London is that I don't have a party that I have to check in with. I don't have a party like they do in Parliament that has to appoint me as a prime minister. I don't have to check with their policies. I don't have to check with their corporate fundraisers. I don't have to make it okay or make sure someone doesn't have some backroom deal. Once I'm mayor of London, I've got a budget, I've got control over transport and policing, and there are so many things that I can do. And so that's why it's important on May 6th for everyone to vote. And if we can become the next mayor of London, we can create real change in this city. Watch us. And the leadership we can provide, it is absolutely game-changing. There's no other office that I would even bother running for right now except for mayor of London, because it's the office I think I can do the most good. And I really appreciate that as well. I've got Luis in Sutton that asks, quote, "What do you think about Sadiq Khan's handling of COVID? What more could have been done, especially for the over 40 females, me included," she says. And let me just go back to this question really quick here. "Me included, your main supporting demographic," is what she said as a question mark. And this is a great question. What the COVID epidemic showed me clearly is that Sadiq Khan lacks leadership. And when I watched the mayor of Manchester fight to keep his citizens and to keep their businesses from going bankrupt, when I watched the mayors of other cities fight for the human rights of their citizens, fight for solutions to the problem, what I saw the mayor of London do, he campaigns for lockdown. He tried to get us into a further lockdown, and then when he does, he blames Boris Johnson, he blames the opposite party, and then he asks for billions and billions of pounds in bailouts. I haven't seen a single solution from Sadiq Khan in how to get this city back to work. And why would you? This man has never run a business in his life. He's been a career politician for 18 years, and he's using the mayor's office to get to his next job, which is probably what he wants, is to be the prime minister. He has lost touch with the citizens because he doesn't care about the citizens, and he's not offering us solutions to our problems. He's not offering us a way out. All he does is use fear as a weapon, and I don't think that's acceptable. And so what I think a mayor should do is lead. A mayor should come up with solutions. A mayor should come up with safe ways for us getting back to work, and I think they exist. I think we can find ways for our hospitality venues to open up. I think we can find ways for our gyms to open up in a COVID secure way, but we need leadership, and we need a mayor that can really find those solutions. And the current mayor of London lacks that foresight. He lacks that entrepreneurial spirit. He doesn't know how to get a deal done and bring people to the table and create a win-win situation. And I think that's always going to hold London back. London has always been a great center of commerce. And I think the mayor of London is missing so many incredible opportunities where we could create value for the citizens here. We could create money for the economy of London, and we could solve these problems. So whereas maybe Transport of London doesn't continually run in a deficit, what if the TfL could run at a profit? I have a solution for that. What if we could provide money to our community centers from corporate sponsors? I have a solution for that. What if we could build 50,000 new affordable homes by Christmas this year? I have a solution for that. I bring solutions to the table because I look at this through the lens of 30 years of business experience in the automotive industry, aerospace industry, in finance in the City of London, and also in new media. So I appreciate the question, Louise, and I like hard questions. That's why I'm here live with you. Ask me hard questions and see if I can answer them. If I can, then you can consider me as your next mayor of London, and if not, then that's fair enough. But let's talk about real issues and real facts. We've got Louise Arrington on YouTube that says, quote, "Khan is just pushing fear," unquote. And Louise, I see the same thing. All I see from him is a fear narrative. He tries to scare you into submission. He blames the national government, and then he asks for more and more bailouts to the tunes of billions and billions of pounds. Some more comments here. I've got Matt in Richmond upon Thames, which I think we're coming to right now, that says, quote, "What time will you be in Richmond on the 2nd? Will you pass through Twickenham?" And right now we are literally on our way through as we speak. So I appreciate you. If you see our bus, honk your horn. print out your Brian for Mayor poster, stick it in your window, and I appreciate this here. I got Marina via the website that says, quote, is it possible the run for mayor will go ahead this year, as I would really like our country to get back on its feet. Your policy sounds like it's in the right direction. And Marina, we are expecting free and fair elections on May 6th, which is why we're out here campaigning. Make sure you register to vote. Go to votefirst.london if you're not registered. But we need to come out in force on May 6th and vote for a new voice, an independent voice. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to create change. And I have to ask you the question, do you want 3 more years of this? The truth is that the current mayor of London, he's expecting to win right now. That's why he's not out campaigning. That's why he's not on the streets addressing your issues. He thinks you're going to vote for the same party your parents voted for. And you're not even going to think about the other alternatives. And so he's not going to bother campaigning, in my opinion. He's not going to answer the difficult questions, and he's not going to be held accountable to his failed policies. If you find that unacceptable, then you've got to go and vote on May 6th, even if you've never voted before. Even if you don't believe in voting, this is the only way we can create change. So make sure you get out there and show us with your vote, and then we can become the next mayor of London on May 6th and take London in a new direction. A couple last comments here, and I appreciate this. I got DeCompass77 on Instagram saying, hi, Brian. You are definitely the person to lead London. I really hope you get the votes needed. Nice to see you in Wandsworth and other places in London. All the best. Greetings from Poland. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And a couple more comments here. I got Spencer McKean on Instagram that says, Brian won't back down. He's fighting for us, unquote. I appreciate you, Spencer. And if you haven't noticed, we don't back down. We keep going because we believe passionately in what we do. We believe in the citizens of London. I love this city. It's given me 21 years of the most incredible part of my life. My children were born here. I'm a citizen of this country. I plan on being buried right in this city, and I appreciate you, and that's why I'm doing this. A couple last comments. I got Paul Hutt on YouTube that says, quote, this is a massive challenge for all involved and won't happen overnight. But you can rest assured Brian will make this his personal mission, have many sleepless nights, but will succeed. And so thank you, Paul. I think you know me pretty well. And a lot of people have known me from the past 10 years on my show, London Real. I've been broadcasting every single week. Come rain, come shine, come sleet, come snow. We always deliver. And once I'm on a mission for something, we do not stop. And, 10 police officers won't stop me. Them trying to reschedule an election won't stop me. Them trying to arrest and detain us won't stop me. Them trying to pull over our bus won't stop me. We are going to move forward, and the best ideas will win. And the reason we have been so successful, we are in second place for mayor of London, something an independent candidate has never achieved in the history of this race. It is because of you. The people have said that these ideas resonate with you. And again, I just want to say the ideas speak for themselves. I am just a vehicle for the truth and the best ideas, and I'm so happy to serve you and be that vehicle to get the best ideas for our citizens. I'll be honest, sometimes at night I go home and it's frustrating because I see how great this city could be. And I see how much our politicians and their policies hold London back from being all it can be. I want this city to be the greatest city on earth. It's not right now, let's be honest. We are one of the lowest performing cities in Europe right now, and it's because of our poor leadership, our poor policies, and our very, very poor current mayor. I think we can change that literally in a matter of months. In our first 100 days, we will make changes that will absolutely, completely change the face of London, and we're super excited for this to happen. The last comment I want to say from Alloy Jr. on Instagram says simply, quote, this is history in the making, unquote. And I completely agree. And look, we are super excited to be part of history. We are on the digital battle bus. I am streaming live from the back. We are going through the boroughs. It's a beautiful sunny day here. We're in Richmond as we speak, and we're going to keep going to the boroughs. Tomorrow, we're heading up north to see our friends in Enfield, and then we're going to Fulham and Kensington and Chelsea. We're going to Hammersmith, and we are going to finish this tour just like we said we would. 32 boroughs in the face of fear, 32 boroughs in the face of police detention, 32 boroughs of them telling us we couldn't campaign in a COVID secure manner. We proved them all wrong, and it's because of you and all of your help. This is the people's choice here. This is a people's movement, and we are going to change this mayorship, and I'm super excited. So thank you so much. Again, share this video, leave us a comment, give us a like, tell your friends about what's going on here. We think this is history in the making. We appreciate you being here. Again, go to our website, brianformayor.london. You can leave me a comment. You can share all of our videos and our pictures and our assets. You can volunteer, you can donate, you can get your swag, you can show your support and share the website out to your social media friends. The only way we're gonna win is if we do it together. This is a ground up movement from the grassroots, from the people. And I just wanna say I really appreciate you. It's been an exciting couple weeks here, but the battle bus will continue. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow when we stream again from Battle Bus Live. Have a great day, and we'll see you later. Thank you.